morning, everyone, and I hope you guys are having a great Sabbath. Today, I want to come to you and talk about what are the laws of God. I have a little script here, so you know, forgive me if I jump around a little bit, but this is one of my first videos, and I promise I will get better. But this is not a video to teach you or not to entertain you. This is a video just to teach you, what the word talks about. And for you to get greater and better understanding, you need to get into this word as well so that you can do the best that you can to not be not have a blemish on on your clothing, because we have a marriage to prepare for you guys. So let's get right into it. What are the God's laws, or what are God's laws? Yahuwah's laws, the Most High's laws, are His commandments and statutes, ordinances, which are customs that He gave to the children of Israel to be a sign and a covenant. With this sign, it will be a marking on your mind and a marking on your hand, speaking and doing the law of the Father, the Most High. Exodus 13 and 9. Let's go there. And it shall be for a sign upon your hand and a memorial between your eyes, which is your forehead, that Yahuwah's law may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand hath Yahuwah brought you out of Egypt, a place of bondage. Before I go into the next thing, I want to add on to the fact that uh, in Revelations, it also talks about at the ending that there will be a mark of the beast sign, and also there will be a sign or a seal of God that is marking people in between their eyes, which is their forehead. So the angel, there was an angel that told the four angels to hold back the winds of the earth, until they seal the servants of God, basically. So I don't have the scripture in front of me right now, but it's in Revelations. Go check that out, because that is basically what's being done right here. Um, and again, before I continue even more, understand that you have to have faith as well in the Messiah, and the sacrificial laws are done away with because the Messiah was sent for our atonement, for everlasting atonement. So I'll probably get a little into that a little later, but we should continue. Deuteronomy 30 and 10. If you shall listen unto the voice of Yahuwah, the Most High, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which is his laws, his covenant, his ordinances, which are written in the book of the law, and if you turn into Yahuwah your Almighty with all your heart and with all your soul, basically this is what you should do. You should follow his commandments and his statutes. If you listening to him, if you hearing him. So that means you need to go read them 10 commandments. That means you need to read the laws, get yourself familiar with them, and you need to find out what his customs are. Let's jump a little ahead. So I'm gonna go through what some of the laws are that I found, because I'm still doing a little bit more study onto this. So laws of offering, sacrifices, trespass, and burnt offerings. Again, those offerings are, those laws are done away with because those are the sacrificial law. The Messiah came down as a spotless sheep, a spotless lamb, and he became that everlasting atonement for the house of Israel, and grafted those Gentiles in as well. So that does not mean that you do not need to follow the law, but that means that you no longer have to kill animals for forgiveness, that you are given through the Messiah and having faith in him. But he will tell you also in John that if you love him and if you love the Father, that you will keep the commandments. And also throughout the New Testament, it will tell you that you will keep the laws. Let's pick this up a little bit more. So, what do we need to do with the law? What we need to do is to keep the law, and we need to teach our children. My apologies. Um, I need to finish the rest of the laws. So, purification after birth. Get familiar with that, what that is. Laws about leprosy. Laws for cleansing lepers. Laws for cleansing houses. laws about bodily discharges, laws against eating blood, laws of ordinances, which has ties to Egypt and other Babylonian and Assyrian things, and the heathens have ordinances as well, customs that we keep to this very day. That you guys think like, oh, uh, I'm not doing anything wrong with keeping Christmas. You actually are doing something wrong, but I'll teach you that later. During my study. But law of jealousies, laws of the Nazarite, law of diet in a tent, and the ceremonial law. So let's pick this back up. Where what do we do with these laws? We need to keep the law, and we need to teach our children. Although we live in a time where our eyes have seen different things from back then, we still need to not forget that the Most High can do things to your family and for your family. His blessings and his inheritance, the inheritance come from him. We need to understand that these things that we see on TV with these superstars and all stars, they live in a fantasy life. These Most of these people, or some of these people, are getting blessed from fallen angels. So we need to not lust after those things. We need to not covet what they have going on, because we don't know what, if they made sacrifices, we don't know what they went through to get those things. So Deuteronomy chapter 4. During this time in Deuteronomy chapter 4, Moses was telling the children of Israel to be obedient unto the statutes, um, the statutes, which is the commandments, the covenant, the customs, the laws, the ordinances, and the judgments, which are the penalties and the crime, which he taught and learned from Yahuwah. One of the first things Moses began to say is not to add unto the word which he commanded, and to not take away from it, that you may keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Almighty, with your the Most High, which he commanded you. The Most High commanded you these things. Excuse me. So next was remembrance is brought to their attention to what happened because of Baal Peor. So if you guys don't know or familiar with Baal Peor was basically a false idol or a false god, which dealt with, I'm going to say, multiple deities, but sometimes or most of the time always revolved around what? Sun worship. So we're going to get into Numbers 25. The children of Israel began to commit whoredom with daughters of Moab. The Moabites called Israel unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the children of Israel did eat and bow down to the Moabites' gods. And Israel joined himself into Baal Peor, and the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Israel. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before Yahuwah against the sun, that the fierce anger of Yahuwah may be turned away from Israel. Psalms 106 and 28. Also letting you know, they, as the children of Israel, joined themselves also unto Baal Peor, and ate the sacrifices of the dead. Hosea 9 and 10. I found Israel like grapes. This is the Most High speaking. I found Israel like grapes in the wilderness. I saw your fathers at her first time. Basically saying her is the church. They went to Baal Peor and separated themselves unto that shame, and their abominations were according as they loved. So that's very important, that the way that they love, the Most High see that these people went to sacrificing and following other gods because that was love in their heart. Like, or according to the Most High, he sees that is a affection, that is a love. So you doing that and not following the Most High's laws and commandments and stuff like that, he sees that you're loving other gods. But how do you show your love and affection to the Most High? You do what? You need to follow the God's laws, okay, and his commandments. Now, the people that worship Baal Peor were destroyed, but the people that cleave unto Yahuwah are also alive. Moses repeats that he taught the statutes and judgments as Yah has commanded him, and encourages us to keep them and to keep doing them. This is your wisdom and your understanding in the sights of the nations, which shall hear these statutes and shall surely um, say, "This great nation is wise and understanding people." So that part right there is that give you just a brief understanding that the children of Israel were the original plan basically was to redeem them from Egypt, take them to this promised land, and through that wilderness they were being taught the laws so that they when they get to their land that they could keep these laws and teach these laws to other nations, and these other nations could be of understanding of the ways of the Most High as well. But as you see in multiple accounts that we're about to enter into as well, Israel fell into idolatry, which is one of the things you easily want to get the Most High to not answer your prayers and ignore you and to not call you his people. Keep following idolatry. Idolatry is so associated with bowing down to graven images, um, worshiping other gods, following things that are not of the Most High, and you're following things of everything else which is of the world. You over here trying to follow, these superstars and these movie stars and these all stars, which these dudes, these like I told you, most of them, some of them are over here sacrificing to other gods, and you over here trying to pay $300 to a Beyonce ticket. You got to be careful because that is a sign of you loving another God. All right, example of not keeping laws or commandments. So first, we're going to go to First King 12 and 31. So Jeroboam, just so you know, Jeroboam was one of the kings. I can't remember for sure right now if he was one of the kings of Israel or one of the kings of Judah, but he was one of the kings, and he was placed in a leadership position. But he was one of the people that led Israel to sin. So I think he was a king over Israel. So Jeroboam, 1 King 12 and 31, Jeroboam made an house of high places and made of the lowest priests of the lowest of the people, which were not the sons of Levi. The Levites, which were like Aaron and Moses and all his sons, they were the ones that were supposed to be priests. And this was a part of that law. So just so you know, these people sinned because they didn't follow the ordinances and the laws of the Most High. Now, let's take it to 1 Kings 12, 32, and 33. Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month on the 15th day. This is important. Listen. Like unto the feast that is in Judah, and he offered upon the altar. Okay? So did he in Bethel, sacrificing unto the calves that he had made. So he made some graven images. He made calves. And he placed in Bethel the priest of the high places which he had made. So Jeroboam basically went doing his own thing. And as you see, the 8th month on the 15th day, that is not an ordinance of the Most High that he told people to keep. But he was doing this in his own heart. So I'm going to show you as well. So that was another sin, making sacrifices to other gods, which was ties to Baal, and graven images on a feast day, which was a holiday he probably was creating, or a Sunday of worship, right? So again, notice the rotation of the first day, which is similar to the 8th day, which is similar to the 15th day, and which is similar to the 22nd day. Now, there are feast days that will tell you that, for instance, the 15th day will be holy unto you until the next Sabbath. But you gotta get yourself familiar and study and find out what months were they held in for that. Not just you going in your own heart and your own way, finding out that this is good enough for you to do unto the Most High. So he offered upon the altar which he made in Bethel the 15th day of the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart. I mean, he did this out of his own will, that he planned it to do it. This wasn't a set ordinance by the Most High. Again, so And he ordained a feast unto the children of Israel, and he offered upon the altar and burnt incense. So again, he was sinning. Uh, 1 King 13 and 33. After this thing, man of Almighty God slew. Jeroboam returned not from his evil way, but made again of the lowest of the people priest of high places. So basically, um, there was a I'm gonna say a man of God that went into the land that spoke against this event that Jeroboam had did on the altar. And once he did that, the Most High told that man of God, don't eat with them people. Leave this area, leave this land. But something happened to it where another prophet came into him and said, I heard from the Most High, and he said you could come eat with me. And then the dude went to go eat, and the Most High spoke through that same prophet and said, didn't I tell you not to come eat with these people? And he sent the lion and basically killed them. So just to give you a little background on that. So again, Jeroboam returned not into his evil way, but he made again of the lowest of the people priests of high places, whomever he consecrated him, and he became one of the priests of the high places. 1 King 13 and 34. And this thing became sin unto the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off and to destroy it from the face of the earth. Okay? So we're going to go to 2 Kings 10, 30, and 31. So Jehu, which was somebody that was also deemed as a king, Jehu decided not to walk in the law of Yahweh Almighty of Israel with all of his heart. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which he made in Israel to sin, or which made Israel to sin. I'm sorry. This means he did not follow the commandments or laws that he was supposed to. Every king and priest, basically everybody in Israel was made to follow these laws. So if you ain't following these laws, you first of all, you're leading the Most High's people down the wrong path, and that goes to the same for these priests and these prophets today. If you ain't following these laws, they blindly leading you, and both of the blind is gonna fall into the ditch. So it is important and it is imperative that you follow the commandments of the laws of the Most High. So how do we keep the law, or how do we keep it accurate? We first have to understand from Deuteronomy 4, chapter 4, 1 through 6, there is wisdom and understanding that will come with keeping the law. So it is there. You have to understand there is wisdom and understanding. How do you get that wisdom and understanding? You have to read the Bible. You have to be in spirit, praying to the Most High, asking for guidance, and you have to read the Bible. I always recommend that you start from the front of the book to the back, and then start to do precept upon precept, line upon line. Don't read things out of context. All right. So that's pretty much my little study for you today. I try not to keep this study long. In the future, again, I will do the best that I can to have things a little bit more organized and a little bit more better understanding, give a better presentation. But again, this is not for entertainment. This is for you to wake up to understand that there are people in this world that is telling you that the laws of the Most High has done away with. That means people are telling you you don't need to keep the Sabbath day. That means people are telling you that you don't have to wear certain clothing, that you don't have to do this, that you don't have to do that. When the Bible tell you that basically one of the things that, or two of the things that were basically done away with was the judgments and the atonements, because the Messiah has came and he was basically the sacrificial lamb. So get better understanding and full understanding for yourselves, and show your heart to the Most High that you can follow what He has deemed you to follow. It is important, men of Israel, grow your beards out, grow that hair out. Don't put no razor to it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get me wrong. I'm still battling some of this stuff myself because we have been brought up in heathen ways. We have been taught by the world to abolish the Most High's ways and to really look at ourselves as gods and worship other people as gods and to just eliminate what He has for us. But we have a wedding to prepare for, you guys. The Messiah is going to collect the remnant of those that's following the ways of the Most High. So we have a duty to keep these laws and commandments, and we need to make sure that we follow what the Word is saying. Please get understanding. If I'm always down for suggestions and comments, but I'm always down even more to take a Sabbath day, or it doesn't matter, any day, to read the Word and get into it with the study. So I thank you for listening to this video, and I'll see you soon.